Born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1945, Geraldine Milligan and her family moved 2 years later to the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Her grandmother was a singer in the South, and her father was a one-man band. Geraldine was destined to be an artist. As a teenager, she went to Hyde Park High School with her best friend Minnie Riperton, who will later be known for her success, Loving You, released in 1975. Geraldine Milligan recorded her first single, I Let Myself Go, in 1965 under the name of Geraldine Hunt, because at the time the record company wanted a shorter name. The name stayed to this day. Influenced mainly by the Motown artists, she also worked with Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Temptations and Nina Simone. In 1975, she moved to Montreal with her family, and it is there that her career really took off. The fact that she was Anglophone did not prevent her from learning French and from making appearances as a backup singer with French-speaking artists like Boule Noire and René Simard. She even recorded some songs in French like Ne me dis pas adieu. She was inspired by a movement that started in the early 60s when artists began to sing and promote change. She realized that everybody in the business had a duty to use not only their voices, but to speak their own truth. According to her, she has a responsibility to report and describe her reality. Geraldine Hunt started to write and produce her own songs. In 1979, she produced a disco song for the Warner Brothers Company. The hit Get Up and Boogie was interpreted by Freddie James. This gifted artist also happened to be her son. During the first 20 years of her career, Geraldine Hunt interpreted songs written and produced by others. It is when she began to do everything herself with her own label, 6 AM Records, that she experienced huge success. In 1980, she released her biggest hit to date, Can't Fake the Feeling. This worldwide radio and club hit stayed at the top of the prestigious Billboard disco charts for 7 weeks. Other family members besides Geraldine and her son have had musical success. In 1982, Geraldine produced an album for the group named Cherie, which included her daughter Rosalind, also known as Roz Hunt. She was actually one half of the popular duo. Their single, Murphy's Law, sold over 2 million copies worldwide. It is with great honor that Star Inspiration Web Radio TV introduces to you another facet of this accomplished artist, a conscious and spiritual woman, an artist with a mission, and here she is to share them with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful and authentic Geraldine Hunt.
We're very fortunate to have today with us Geraldine Hunt, who is an accomplished artist and also a very spiritual person. You'll find that out during the interview. Geraldine, tell us a bit about your artistic background to begin with.
Well, I started singing when I was about 4 years old. I'm from Chicago. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, on the Mississippi River. And I decided at 4 years old that I was going to be a recording artist. And I grew up in Chicago, and of course, in those days, most people started in the church, and worked my way up to doing auditions for local talent shows and whatnot. Got myself a recording contract with Shaka Khan's record label. That was called Rags to Riches, and Minnie Riperton was like my mentor, and recorded my first record, and it started from there. During the 70s, during the Vietnam War, I was on what they call a USO tour for the military, and that took me to Thule, Greenland, and a very secret base. Was like missile site or some kind of American-Canadian installation. And during that period, the war ended. The Vietnam War ended, and we were working with agents at that time, and they told us, since the war ended, why don't you just work your way back home through Canada? And that is when I came to Quebec. When I came into Quebec City, I thought that was all of Canada. And I absolutely fell in love with the French Canadian people in this province. It's like a rebirth for me, career, music-wise, person-wise, spiritual-wise, and every possible means, because the French Canadian people are a special breed of beings. Very special, I find. Anyway, I was on the Billboard and Record World chart at that point when I came in. I had no idea they spoke French.
Neither did you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know. But I found out quickly because once I decided I could not go back to America after coming to Quebec. And I just absolutely had to stay. But I had to find something to do and see how the industry was. And as I said, I came in with a record on Billboard and Record World. However, they were more into Mahogany Rush, and Aquarius Records was happening, and real fertile. But they were pushing French at that point, and I understand why. This day, I really get it. But back then, they had something like this man, Le Pen, or something like that, and they had a group like the FLQ that was trying to speak for the people and represent their voice. And that's why they were trying to push.
Did you understand the fight of the French Canadians at that point, the political implications?
Immediately, because there was a book that was out called White Niggers of North America. And at that point, I had met this wonderful man, and he lived in Thetford Mines, and I went to visit them, and I realized that they were subservient, and not treated very well.
In fact, that's why the book was written, to make a sort of comparison, even though on a much lesser level, between the blacks in America and the French Canadians here, who were exploited by the ruling majority.
Absolutely. This is what I found. I mean, I couldn't believe they had a quota for when French Canadian children had done 10 years of university and hardship and pain. But when the quota came up to choose who would get these great contracts and jobs and go on, maybe you could pick 1 out of 10 French Canadians and the rest would be the others. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I ventured out of Quebec and went all the way to Vancouver, all the way across, the derogatory statements. Because, you know, I was a bit naive. I mean, I had just left a era where I knew the Black Panthers because they were my brothers. They were feeding us in the ghetto. And I understood the Black Power salute, which shouldn't have been a threatening thing for people to be able to speak their voice. They have a right to speak their voice. So when I was going across Canada saying Viva, Viva le Quebec and the FLQ, I mean, the people were just not happy, okay? They were stirring it up. But I couldn't understand, it's just, but anyway, somehow I managed. There was a singer, his name was Benoit, George Thurston, and at this point he was recording an album, and half Toulouse, Judy Richards and my sisters, had gone to Paris some of them with Jeanette Renault at that point, so they needed singers to help Benoit finish his album because he was booked to do a tour. The St. Denis Theater was the jump-off point, opening for Donna Summers. And like I said, I didn't understand French, but I understand this, music.
And George was a very good musician.
Oh, he was an amazing musician and human being. What a being he was. I don't think a day goes by that I don't think about him. I really, really don't think so. And I'm sure his energy is still around. He's quite a being. But anyway, me and another singer, Alma Faye Brooks, another black lady, they took us, befitting, blackball. You know? Anyway, I won't go there. You know what I mean, folks. Anyway, I phonetically learned the French almost in 24 hours. And that young people tell you what you can do. Don't ever think you can't do anything. You can. It's just your capacity to create and dream and say to yourself you can do it, because 24 hours I was singing French, okay? And then I went on to get a #1 record in Quebec called J'ai Mal. And my second top 10 French record was Ne me dis pas adieu. So, and I'm still not fluent, but, you know, and it's, what can I tell you? You can do anything, and if I wanted to, and if I took the time and discipline, I could do that also. But anyway, that launched my career in the music industry in Canada. And it's just, it's been quite an adventure. It's been wonderful. I've done there was no discrimination as far as the talent was concerned amongst the musicians and the singers. We had the discrimination of the handlers who didn't like very much us being able to get along because, you know, they still want to pay you $50, $75. They don't want you to know that you uphold the whole music industry, but they minimize it in a way that they treat you and pay you. But our brothers and sisters in the industry are #1 genuine from beginning to end. And if you got some that are weird, well, maybe they bought into the handler's mind.
You're beginning as a singer in the church, and
Okay.
I understand that spirituality has been a very important part of your life.
Yes.
How does that work with the singer? How does the spiritual Geraldine connect with the singer?
That's a beautiful question. And something I can tell you I've learned. First of all, you don't need to go to church to be spiritual and get spirituality. You are a spirit. I am, you are, we are all spirits. It's always been there. And we're all singers, actually. So when we open our mouths, when we speak, when we love, when we eat, when we talk, everything we do is spirit. So there is no separation. We have been taught that God is in the sky and everything is separate from us, but it's not true. We are creator gods. We are spirit, having a physical experience on planet Earth in a duality, in a third density. Up, down, left, right. We can't move any other way. We don't know any other way. That's because we're in a duality. But we are spirits. We don't die. We can leave and vacate our bodies if we choose. But when we do, that spirit goes back to a source of all there is. Because we are all there is. There's spirit in the rocks, the trees, and paper. Everything is spirit. That's what I found out.
How did you find that out? When did that come about, that realization that everything is one and that you are part of everything? It's certainly not through church, because
No.
Yeah, we all know that church
Oh.
doesn't go that way. But when did you personally get the grasp of that?
That is such, you're good. I was a year and a half ago, I was in Kazakhstan. I had been there 4 years. I love that country also. The way it stacks up for me, Canada, Japan, and Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan is a 15-year-old country, teenager. And I thought it was magnificent because it was part of the former Soviet Union. And I thought, wow, what an opportunity for me to be able to help build a foundation of a country. That country is the first country I've ever gone to that's unique and got real friends, lifetime friends, so much that I pined for them to go back. What kept me there was a church. It was a united church, and we were doing a lot of things for handicapped or mentally challenged people who I found out now are I don't want to say alien, but I want to say angels, because our star nations took those bodies because they knew they could hide there and observe us. But anyway, I was so into the church. I mean, I had a Bible. I was holy roller. I knew, oh, you can't get to heaven unless you go this way, and I was this and that. And something happened. Something awful happened to me. I thought at the time, but I didn't realize it was a kick. Have you seen the movie Inception?
Yeah.
Then you understand that there's something that has to happen that kick you out of that dream or out of that level, get you unstuck. And I came home and I was still asking, if I'm this such Christian and this religious, how could you do these things? Or why, It seemed like overnight. When I got back one morning, I woke up. It was so clear. It was like something, like I was in another dimension. Because now, the realization, I could no longer depend on a Jesus, because he's fake, made up. And I can understand why all my energy has been going toward supporting the wrong group, as you will, and why nothing has happened that's been good in the progression of the planet. Because I was giving a lot of energy to the wrong God.
Even though church is really involved into helping other people, officially. I mean,
that's what they're supposed to do.
They go to Africa and they go to South America.
I wish they wouldn't. I really think they should just stay home and leave people alone. Really.
You think it would be better?
Oh, I wouldn't give them a penny.
So you had an experience almost like, you were talking and the image that came to my mind was like a butterfly. A total transformation from one state of being to another.
Exactly.
Almost impossible to predict and to foresee. And suddenly there's a butterfly comes out of a cocoon where there was no butterfly there before. It was another animal altogether.
That's right.
So you come out of your cocoon about a year and a half ago, and what do you see?
I was so scared. I was so depressed. I was so worried. I just didn't know what to do now. Because everything I knew now that had been taught to me and that I had basically lived was a lie. Everything is a lie. We're supposed to be here according to the lie. The moment you step out here, you go, whoa, and then you start to get the truth. It seems like I've been downloaded with information. One side of my head for a couple of weeks after I had been interfaced by a being that was wonderful. I could tell people absolutely, they are our extended family.
Who is they?
Star nations.
Who is Star Nation?
The star nations that planted the star seeds that came in the 40s. Okay, let me back up because I'm learning all this. And,
Yeah, so am I. So are we all.
Yeah, that's what I started with, was the fact that when I was so devastated after learning, coming out of that cocoon and trying to open these wings, I was thinking, okay, and it was in my head, no words, it was just in my head, in my heart, the information was saying to me, look here, look there, look there. So I started to investigate this because I've always been skeptical. My generation was taught, you don't believe in voodoo, you don't believe in magic, you go to church, you be a nice this or that. So we've been very well trained and restricted. Don't interpret your dreams. Oh, that's nonsense. All that's our information. That's why we were told that. Not because our parents was rotten. They didn't know. But this is why star seeds came. Because they were in a constant loop. They were not evolving at all.
But at the same time, if you when I hear what you're saying, and it connects with old Sanskrit scriptures and old North American Indians traditions, where
The Hopis.
there's nothing new here. There's nothing I haven't heard.
That's right.
And it's an old, like, reincarnation. So we're all talking about that, aren't we?
Yes. Well, we're talking about reincarnation for some people, for some beings that's been doing this loop, because the planet is more than 3 or 4 billion years old. These people has lied to us, telling us Jesus, the man was on the earth 6,000 years. So tell me, who built the pyramids then? And who are those people carved on the pyramids if man has only been 6,000 years on the planet? Right there is a big lie for me. And that's enough to send me to go look. And then when I found out the pyramids and our sarcophagus, these are power or energy centers that's set on the planet to keep the energy grids properly feeding us. But then the others who knew about that took and set negative structures on these grids, and that's dumbed us down. That's why the human race is seem like sheeple. Nothing excites them or moves them anymore. Like what I said, I still have faith in the French Canadian people, because you know what? The French Canadian people, the Japanese people, and the Kazakh people still think community. They are still helping one another in their communities. They believe in that. That is where we're heading in the future, because we cannot sustain what we're doing now, this paper fiat that has no value whatsoever. We used to trade in chickens. People want to laugh about that. But that is where we're headed. We never were supposed to be dealing with paper. It's a scandal when you see beings in these costumes, dressed like mailman, dressed like policeman. They think that's who they are. And you see them behind these things. But what they are is like what you were saying to me earlier. You're a being. You're a love. You're a light. We are all one. You're not these idols. See? So when I when I woke up to the fact I have been recovering, I won't say recovering, I have been discovering something wonderful is about to happen on planet Earth. Something absolutely amazing. Not destruction, not destructive. But people got to wake up now.
How do you think this is going to happen? How do you think that the Earth is going to... It's hard to fathom the changes that are happening now, because it's happening so fast. And the human brain has never been confronted with the challenges that face humanity today. Some people talk about, we can call it a quantum leap. in the human mind.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
agree with that. I
That's
agree with
it.
that. I think like the butterfly coming out, no one can predict that a butterfly is going to come out of that cocoon because let's say it's never been done before. Suddenly it happens. The human mind seems to be going through some sort of transformation, but how do you think it's going to happen?
Wow. I think it's a process. I think that when we contracted to come down here to help the human race, they told, we understood the plan. And they told us we're going to be waking in stages. And it makes sense because you can't spring all this on the human race. They're not ready. They haven't been. And we're trying desperately to wake them up, to get as many people awake as possible. And because we know the ninth wave of the Mayan, that's why everything is speeding up. We know that it's already passed. And anybody can go check and do their own research because it's only true for them when they say it is. But every 26,000 years, this planet goes through this. The powers who think they control us know this. Why they haven't told the others, told the rest of the world, if you do your research, you will find out they plan to eliminate 3 billion people. What better way? And through the disaster they think is going to happen. But we've decided that Gaia, Mother Earth, is not going to do the destruction that the church people would like to see happen. We've already stopped that. So that's not going to happen. But what is happening is the time of the light workers, the ones who came in here in the 40s, that came in as star seeds. One of my friends is a reincarnate praying mantis. And she's beautiful. Yes, because all the beings down here are not just humanoid. There's all kingdoms here that's going to ascend. The rocks, the trees, everything is going to ascend. And it's a process now. This wave that came in the 40s is doing the work that has to be done now.
So what you're saying basically is that the people who were born in the 40s that became the hippies, for instance,
Yeah,
and transformed the society
John
totally,
Lennon,
radically.
Yes.
From in terms of ideas, a lot of ideas that these people had in the 60s and in the 70s are now common for everyone. So what you're saying that these people are the first wave, yes. Followed by whom?
Well, you and me, we're doing our part.
And then?
Then in the 60s, we had another wave that they call rainbow. Now, the way the percentage was, 40% when we came in.
40% of what?
Indigo.
Indigo.
Yes.
Indigo is the first wave of people. I'm just trying to really slow down so that at least I can understand and maybe people here can understand as well. So we have 40% of indigo. How many people are we talking about? Are we talking about?
Right now, if you look at the planet, it's never had 7 billion people. No matter how many wars and famines.
Absolutely.
It's a consistent number. And that's for a reason. So 20, maybe 30% came in the 40s, indigo. On the end of that was the 60s, where indigos but went into rainbow.
What is the difference?
Well, the rainbows that came in to do nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well.
They came in, their presence, because they're different. They are different. They're peaceful. They want to create stuff, and they have problems with the grandparents and the parents and but they're here just to be. They were anchoring light, because it's love. When you hear people say, "Oh, I don't love him anymore, I fell out of love," it's no way, because we're all one. You can never separate from the source. And so the percentage became like about 60 or 70%. And now 100%. We are billions. And the only way that we could stop the destruction that we kept hearing about, and it's like you say, the Sanskrit scripts, and is to have been born on the planet. That's the only way we could come, because it's a universal law, and everybody is looking in the universe. And if you do something that is out of what the agreement was in the Star Nations, they can't trust you. You lose your membership, because they believe in keeping their word. And plus the fact, the karma, you don't want to deal with the karma. I mean, it's not that we're going to burn in hell like the liars in the churches have told us, because there's no punishment. But the karma, if you can turn it to dharma before the ascension, is better. However, they have said that this time some karma will be eradicated, but you have to work on the big parts that must be done. Because, I mean, what sense would it make for you to go into a fifth dimension, the new Earth? And they already mentioned in CNN that the planet had moved into our solar system. So I don't know, people missed also Bush saying that Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. So, you know, and the soldiers are still over there. So I can see people miss the planet moving into the solar system, you know? But why would you take people who are sheepo and sleepo and bring them somewhere else to make another mess? And see, what people don't understand on this earth is that when you do nuclear war and you blow up stuff, it affects the universe, even though people here think that they're the only humanoids. They affect other planets. Some beings have lost their planets. They have nowhere to go back to. And the Argarthians, in the center of the earth, our brothers and sisters, there's some insect beings that they don't have a planet to go to now, either. You know, and they're worried sick because the Argarthians have been given permission to leave the center. Maybe that's where some of us will go during the coming shakeup. But in my mind, I've already stabilized. Nothing is going to happen to me.
We go back a year and a half ago.
Okay.
From a year and a half ago to now, where do you get all this information? You say it's being downloaded into my head. Mm-hmm. From where? Books? You read books? Is there philosophy? Is there? You come up with names that I've never heard, and I'm sure most people listening now I haven't heard about Agapians and all of this. Where do you get that from?
See, you know what happened to me? I was an artist. I mean, a real singer, and I travel and I'm glamorous and dress up and limousines and look good and made millions and, you know, the whole thing. Yeah. I am a money magnet. If I'm focused on something in the industry, it has to be in the industry because that's my love. I'm going to make millions. That's just the way I am. And everybody in the industry knows that. When they see me and I got an idea, they're with me because they know I'm going to be successful. Well, when I woke up that time, a year and a half ago, for me, I'm a singer. I like to sing, but I'm done. Because I understand you must study now. I mean, how does humans accept all the things that are happening? They lost all their rights. They have a criminal code book that's that thick. Every time they accumulate $1, there's somebody in the mailbox on the telephone to take it. They're not with their children. They're not able to enjoy their relationships. They're not able to sit back and just relax. They're working 5-6 days a week. We're not supported. We didn't come here for that. We're no slaves. And when I look around and see that, I'm done with that. I'm done. I'm just done with it. For me, it's finished. I see that it's done. And what people have to do, if you don't like your life, look beyond these blinders and step back and take a wide view. You have, going back to the Bible and all the religious teachers that say, you have free will. Who did you give it to? Why did you give away yourself? All your rights? That's why you have nothing. Because you've decided that you can't think for yourself. And so you need somebody to take care of you. And you gave away what you came on this planet with. Freedom and free will. You are a spirit being having a physical experience and nothing more. Do you think that the creator of all there is would send you down here without a package, a lunchbox? You make lunch for your kids. You think he would not give you all the resources for you to live? I think not. That's what I know now. And I'm finished with plan A, with plan B. I'm taking the other plan. And what's the other plan? It is being responsible for myself, okay? And acting like an adult and not begging to do things that are my rights. That's what I'm doing. Either you believe with the church and the Bible and all of this says, and you trust your creator, or you trust who? Because
now you mentioned the big C word, the creator. What is this? What is your belief? Do you believe in a God with a G, capital C, capital whatever?
No.
Do you believe in a being? Do you believe in a spirit? What do you believe in?
I believe there's a source of all there is. But I think that we are fractals that was projected ourselves here. We are sparks. We are creator gods. We create our own reality, and the powers that think they control knew this. So what do they give us as imagery? We're magical. We create any and everything that is here. That is why we are all responsible for the mess, and we must clean it up.
What you're saying basically is that God is God, whatever it is, whatever that is, and I'm not talking about religious God, but I'm talking about eternal energy is playing a game with itself. It's just we are here as a play, because we're all God. We're all the energy, and the energy decided to express itself this way.
Exactly.
And we are part of that.
Yes, sir.
We are not separate from that.
No,
We're just ourselves playing in a mirror.
That's right. That's right.
Now I have another question for you.
That is fantastic. Absolutely.
We live in the duality world. Good and bad.
Yes.
Do you believe in evil?
No.
You don't believe in evil. You
No
don't
more.
believe that soldiers raping young child in some foreign countries, you don't believe that it's a manifestation of evil, or women being raped, or being exploited, or you don't believe that it's a manifestation of evil. What is it then?
It is their life plan. Some people came here to starve to death experience. Some people came here, they just were born and then they leave. We're not allowed, we're asked not to judge each person's life plan. So evil is, now we're judging.
then if evil doesn't exist, and I can see your point, then good doesn't exist either,
Absolutely.
because it's a duality world.
Absolutely.
So what is. What is. That's it.
Absolutely.
No good, no evil.
That's right.
No security, no insecurity.
That's right.
We are.
I am. That's it. And we're all on a different timeline. Everything that ever happened now is absolutely now. See, we've been taught to think 1, 2, 3. Oh, they got us. You have to give them they really worked that thing, man. But even they, it's rough for them too to play the role they're playing. The cabal.
Let's
That's
go back
hard.
2 questions before.
All right.
If all we are is God playing mirror with himself, they are also part of that game.
Absolutely. Yes.
So it's all within one concept of good and evil, and they and us, and it's all one thing.
Exactly. Because we're they and they are us. That's it. There is, and I tell you, in the end, they said the party, when we walk out of here, because we're going to make it, we've already made it. When we go out of here, it's going to be a party and a half. I do not want to miss it. So all these concepts, I've been looking at them very carefully, and I would advise my own brothers and sisters to do the same. This is not it. This is not all there is. This, what you think you're looking at, is a whole lot of other stuff going on, and you got to get beyond it because you're responsible for your contract. Oh, yeah. But that's it.
Will you be held accountable?
And
by whom?
Well, they said that because this is a very unique situation. Like I said, there's never been 7 billion people on the planet. And if you can understand the concept that first, we're not the only people, not the only beings in the universe, regardless to what we've been taught and what we would like to believe. There are other beings that our actions affect. So they're like, look, that school, we're tired of it because dangerous stuff happens. The cabal takes it to the limit, and then they blow themselves up, and then our planets change in the universe. A couple of planets sheared off the top of them. In fact, they claim that when we talk about the flood in Noah, actually it was a planet called Moldak. On this earth, there was only fresh water, and when that planet was destroyed, that was during the Sodom and Gomorrah. That was nuclear weapons, nuclear warheads. And that planet was destroyed, and all that salt water came down. All the creatures that was in the salt water ended up on planet Earth. We never had salt water here. Deep. Excuse me. So I've lost my thought when I got with that one. Really. But what was I?
Let me go back to a question I asked earlier, because you come up with different scenarios. Mm-hmm. Where do you get them from? What do you read books to get those? Who tells you these things? Do you make them up as you go along? Because not in a bad way. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but do you feel that this is what happens? Or what happened? How do you get those concepts of different beings and different stages? Where do you get that from?
Well, I said before, whenever I'm focused in on something, I'm like a laser. I'm focused.
Right.
Everything I've ever done has been like that. And I got the concepts of the Bible. I got that driven into me, and I read it, tried to be a good Christian. But it's interesting because the ones that wrote it are the ones that have been here, that were the ones that was thrown from heaven, they say. I always ask the church people, where did those creatures go? anyway, they understood all where all the information is. So, I mean, what better way to doctor up the stories so that they can make it happen? Because they got all the weaponry, like HARP and Operation Bluebeam. They got all this stuff. They sent Quebec an earthquake in February to move the tectonic plates in the St. Lawrence River. And then we had a flood, right? Never had a flood. But anyway, when I started to look into the star seeds and all that stuff, I'd gone to a workshop, my very first one, because I decided after waking up, I was losing it. I just was not comfortable because I had nothing else. And I couldn't call on Jesus or any of this stuff because it was ridiculous. And I realized everything had been a lie. So I went to that workshop. They were doing something on the native reservation at the medicine wheel. And they showed us that there was a white, black people, red people, and yellow people. And the chief explained to us the different herbs that fit our systems, you know, because people who are taking we are organic. And people are taking all this medication is all synthetic. They shouldn't be doing. Anyway, I shouldn't say that because I don't have a right to judge them. But anyway, that's what it is. So they were doing a smudging and a saging ceremony where the chief comes to each person standing. We were about 20. When he got to me, I'll never forget, I looked up and I thought it was a hummingbird. And it might have been another kind of bird. When he got in front of me, I fell. I fell back and I was gone. They asked me when I got back, where did you go? But I realized I was before what they call 12 councils. Anyway.
Did you know about it then?
I didn't know
before?
about that. No.
You didn't know about that? None of this?
I didn't know about the 12 councils. And, you know, and I went down there to prove to see if I can get more information on what I had been reading. And so my daughter was standing next to me. She was with me. And of course she freaked because the way I fell back, I was like out, but I was like slowed down just like bent, but just suspended like, you know. And she was freaking.
Were you conscious during that time?
I was kind of somewhat, but I was feeling such peace. And I was just gone, basically, I think, anyway. And she was screaming, and she was calling me back. I didn't want to come back, really. And when I did land, somewhat, I don't think at that point I had gotten totally back, because I said, you know, we have walk-ins. And I said, where am I? But when I looked at the ground, I couldn't figure out, was it solid? And it took, I don't know how long for my legs to get where I could walk on it, because it would seem like I was gonna go through it, or it was mushy. Anyway, the chief kept me after, and that's when I felt like something was pressing on the left side of my brain, my head. And that is when I became unable to not research.
Where did you research?
I've been researching. I've been going all over the country, actually. I was in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. I went to Philadelphia to other workshops, trying to see what I could prove or disprove about what I'm believing now. Because, I mean, after you've been lied to the way we have, you know, all the society, it's time you start investigating what you're putting in your head, in your life and whatnot. So.
When you talk about workshops, what workshops are we talking about?
Metaphysics, quantum physics, where we work on tools we came here with. And those tools have been given to every human on the planet. And that is telekinesis, that is ESP, that is having the ability to manifest any and everything you need and you want. But we've been taught not to do this by the people who understand, like I said, the ones who escaped the flood and all these other millennials. You people know what I mean. We've been doing this dance for 3 to 4 billion years, folks. It's time to get off the rock and stop it now. But according to the church people, they were thrown from heaven and they came to earth. And again, let's identify them. These are the ones that are still here. I don't understand why people don't get it. They didn't leave. The humans in Noah's day, if that story was true, which is, it's not. And all the things that I'm saying, like I said, these, I can give you facts, but it's only truth until you say it's true. But before you say what I'm saying is idiotic and not true, I would suggest you do your own work.
Now, how that was my question. How do you do this? How does someone who's listening to this now find out about these things? Okay, I'm interested. I think it's fascinating. You have a, you know, I like what Geraldine is saying. So what do? I
Go inside first.
Of course.
That is very important. And it's easier said than done because it's been said to me. But then, you know what? Go inside, you know, superficially. Because if you're still doing this, everything you're going to do, everything you're told is going to be superficial. You got to get out of this and get back here.
How do we do this?
To realize, turn off that television. Realize that you're not being told the truth. I mean, it's all around us. It's almost like that movie, like they said in Matrix. It's all around us. And it's true. But now I have to back up. Because a lot of souls that came here and made their contracts have decided that they don't want to wake up on this issue or that issue. They have their own timer for when they will see truth. But the thing of it is that we know that the calendar is wrong, all wrong. And actually, we might be in 2013 right now. We also know that the Olmecs created the calendar that the Mayas are using.
Wait a minute.
OLMEC.
Who's that?
These were the civilizations before the Mayas. The Mayas didn't have the ability to create a calendar. They were what you call it, farm type of, which is not, doesn't minimize them. But the fact of the matter is that all our history has been suppressed.
But we did find artifacts from the Maya civilization.
Yeah, but you got to look at the Olmec, and then you will see. And if it
have we found anything from that civilization?
Oh my God, those big Negroid heads, the Olmecs, is all over the planet. The Buddha is called a perfect black. What is that other? Krishna. That's blue-black God. People need to spend time and start to research and look into things. And not just sit there and let somebody tell you what life is. Because humans, beings, you are more powerful than you can ever imagine. Get started now, because we have 3 suns now. The sun is not bright. You need to look into the sun to declassify your pineal gland. Keep looking into the sun until a glare disappears, and you will see it will adjust. But that's more lies.
If I talk to an ophthalmologist and tell him that, he's going to say, you're crazy, you'll go blind.
Well, of course he needs your money, doesn't he? He ain't going to tell you so you'll be able to strengthen your eyes and stuff like that. Why would he tell you?
So you're suggesting that I should look in the sun straight up.
And you will see it'll disappear. The glare, what we think is a glare, is going to disappear.
And then what will I see?
If you look into the sun, that sun goes into your eyes. It goes into your third eye, which is the pineal gland. This is what's dead. This is what they have told us for years. Oh, you only use 10% of your brain. Yeah, with your education, we call it public fool system. I wouldn't send a kid to the school at what for? But I'm telling you, I would send, they say, a kid 10 years old, leave them alone. Don't make any more decisions for them. Be there to support them, but do not give them any more advice.
Are you suggesting not to send kids to school at all?
Oh, I wouldn't. I would not send them near that building. You send your kids.
That the dropout that we have.
Thank God for the dropouts. That's the geniuses.
Yeah, but what happens to them in a society where everyone else has a diploma?
Oh, well, good for everyone else. Just because everybody has some don't mean it's good. But when you look at everyone else, they still paying off those loans. What job have they got? I would tell every young person, hit the beach. Get your frisbees, get your dogs, because they must be free enough in their minds to create. Not sent to war to be blown to bits. Not in these stupid jobs with looking like McDonald's, got on these stupid hats. This is outrageous.
How do you pay the rent?
Ah.
How do you survive? How do you eat?
He don't want me to go. You don't want me to go there. You really don't want me to go there. I heard this information is being covered. Your birth certificate is a bond.
And?
You can pay your bills with that bond. You see the lies that's been perpetrated on us? We all think we have to work. We didn't come here for that. But we've been lied to, and we've been deceived. Do you know in 1938 in this country, there was a prepaid accounts made from the bankruptcy of this country, of Canada, prepaid. You were supposed to sign your signature for everything, and they're supposed to balance the books by that. We are in bankruptcy in this country and America, but we had remedies. No one is even looking. If you tell people that, they just talk right over you. But yet they worry and complain about the bills they got. Do you know that the moment you go and buy a car, the moment you sign for it, it's paid completely. But what do? It's not you. But what does most people do? They don't know. They go and they register their car. Guess what happens? The bank puts the car registration puts a lien on it. It belongs now because you're such a baby. You got to go Oh, please, can you give us? No. The moment you sign for that loan, your signature is the money. It's paid. Try to tell people that. They don't want to hear it. And the powers that be know that, and that's why they laugh at us. But I'm doing it. That's how I'm paying mine. And I'm ready to go to court with that. With that caterpillar butterfly effect also came an enormous freedom, a knowing. A person that's not afraid to die is very dangerous. You cannot control me because I'm not going with anybody who's offering me slavery or to be submitted. What's our plan? What's your plan? And I hear the plan. Okay, next. What plan have you got? Because I know now. You can't put me back in the bottle. I am amazing. and I'm free. And I'm not paying for anything to live on a planet I was born on. And I'm not going to pay for stuff that you made a deal with the people that if they use the resources, the water, the wood, the air, they use all our stuff, and now they want us to pay. Well, there's a law that was made. Alongside of the benefits and privileges were titles and rights. So I say to them, I love you, thank you very much. I'm leaving this one, and I'm giving all your membership cards back. Thank you. And now I'm going to do this, and that's legal. And that's what I've done. I filed a UCC and a PPSA.
Explain to the viewers what a UCC is.
A Uniform Commercial Code since Roman period. Folks, we're already in the New World Order. It's not coming. It's always been here. And the Uniform Commercial Code is when you look at your name in capital letters, makes you a corporation. Canada's a corporation. My name was a corporation until I filed that and took control of my trust fund. Okay? I trademarked my name so the police and nobody can use my name without my permission. And I registered it in Washington. And then I came to Great Canada and I did a PPSA. Same goal, I built another tier. I also have the attorney, power of attorney. You must do that and become a secured creditor.
You've brought a few of your works. Could you talk to us about it?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, this is my family in the industry. However, we have more members, but it's these two that came along with me. This is my son, Freddie James, and my daughter, Geraldine Hunt. And this CD, you can find it on Orchard website if you're interested. But it is sort of like compilation of stuff that we like. We produced it. We put on it what we want. So this is a CD that I produced in Kazakhstan. It's called Kazakhstan Can Dance, and they can. Wonderful group of people, very talented. When I first landed there, I thought they were Chinese. Can you imagine my arrogance? Everybody I see with, it's like people, they see black people, they think we're all from the same place. No. Or they see white people, they think that they're all from the same place, bad, or, been slave owners and misconceptions. But I'm sort of proud of that one because that was in a place where I really love. This particular one is a compilation. It's called Volume 1. We're doing Volume 2 right now. But it's of all the stuff that my fans sent to me that I had recorded. And I didn't even have a copy of it. But people collected that from all over the world and sent it to me. And we made a CD. See, that's kind of old picture.
So you're still active in the business?
Yes, I am. I still am because the tones, we're lights, colors, and sound.
You like to you like to sing?
Yes,
of course.
But that's what feeds us.
What inspired you? Any singers that especially inspired you when you were growing up or later in life?
Yes. Was like I said, my mentor was Minnie Riperton, Nancy Wilson, George Benson was our guitar player, so he wasn't singing then, but Donny Hathaway was the vocalist. And we had Jose Feliciano, and of course, Frank Sinatra, and Nat King Cole, and Sarah Vaughan, Morgana King. And coming on up, Stevie Wonder, and my Michael, who I've known since he was 5 years old. Michael Jackson, and with the Jacksons, his fathers, I worked with them on tour because they were a singing group. And but these were excellent, not just vocalists, they were stylists in those days. And the lyrics had significance. It told a story, but it made you feel hope. It made you feel good. because you could follow it, you could identify with it, and it didn't lead you to a disastrous end or suggest something that would make you stir you up to kill yourself or somebody else. I mean, it was an amazing time for music. And John Lennon, I'm just beginning to feel the impact and the appreciation for him. Jeanette Renaud, I love this woman. I mean,
Have you worked with her?
Not really, but
Would you like to?
she's amazing.
She is.
What a voice. I didn't understand one word, but the emotions and the feelings in her voice, oh my God. Anita Baker, Marvin Gaye, my son, Freddie James, my daughter, Ross Hunt. The list, we could go on up until we got into this era where we are now, where it doesn't matter if you sing off key. What you're singing is disgusting. Unless you're almost naked and dancing like a hoochie mama, nobody's paying attention, which is just mindless. And yeah, folks, I am saying that, and I have a right to. I live on this planet also. These airwaves belong to me as well. And polluting them like that with these, you can't even go to a concert anymore because it's once every year, but it's disgusting. It's like some sort of freak show.
Anybody in particular you're thinking of?
Oh, I can name some, like Gaga is one. And I'm not too thrilled about Beyonce these days and Rihanna. I mean, when I was growing up, for black artists, we dressed like men and women. We had on suits and dresses. We had some dignity. But what is happening now, it's just unbelievable.
What about rap music?
I like some of it, but for Tupac. But you know what, folks? If you want to find out who was wholesome, run down the list of who's dead. And you'll find out that these people, when you go and listen to their stuff, you'll find out that they had a positive message. Oh, yeah.
Anita Winehouse?
Amy
Winehouse,
I believe was
yeah.
sacrificed.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I really do.
We seem to lose him young.
Yeah, and if people would connect the dots, they will start to see a different picture as to just simply saying, oh, she was troubled. What a great way for it to go. Come on now. I mean, it's like I've got in my group about 20 people this year from age 28 to 40 that has died from only 3 different things that they're diagnosed with. Now, I'm talking about the chemtrails. And the chemtrails are full of barium and all kind of DNA and all kind of stuff that is just devastating our land. Hook that with Monsanto, and you got a cocktail when you get your vaccination. And take some of that medication, you're done. And when you die, they're going to say, well, he had, Lauren, he had bad sinuses. They know the sheepo is going to give the answer to why you died. This is ridiculous. How come we're building more pharmaceuticals and clinics when you think that 2011 we would be curing cancer and also, why are we building more pharmaceuticals and clinics? Nobody's connecting the dot. And you don't really call this medical a program here in Canada or anywhere else a real program. You go in emergency and you leave with worse than you went with. The doctors are just falling over. This is a joke.
If you ever get to see one.
Thank you. 2 days later, this planet has turned into a zoo. And people need to start connecting dots and wake up. Because I can guarantee you this. Folks, do your research. There is not one success story on this planet except for the people who think they control it. and they're about to be removed. But they're the only ones that don't go to war, don't pay taxes, don't get sick, look like they get younger by the days. Wake up, people. Wake up, for heaven's sakes, and start connecting the dots. And free yourself. Take back your power. Remember who you are. Why did you come here? What are you doing here and where are you going?
What is there in the future for you?
Well,
Professionally?
I
First
hope-
start professionally?
Professionally, I'm not interested because it's not going anywhere.
I see that you sing with your family. And
I'm proud of that. That's why I brought this.
Huh.
But as far as thinking I'm going to do something with this, the way the system is set up, I would have to be an idiot. And none of you are going to make it. Not unless you change this whole thing. I don't mean patch it up by picketing for food stamps or picketing for coupons. I'm talking about the whole thing is damaged. It's sick and it's finished. Get rid of it. It ain't about a party. Like in America, you get Democrats and Republicans, like nobody else has got any thinking ability. You are being deceived and hoodwinked. Okay, wake up. We don't need to be in a nanny state. You can control yourself. Universal law says cause no harm. Go and look up universal laws. Not the 10 Commandments where you got a God that gave you your own rights, gave you free will, but then they gave you 10 Commandments. Oh, by the way, take this booklet with you. We want you to, how ridiculous is that? Thou shalt not. Everything that thou shalt not, the controllers are doing it. They're killing. They're sleeping with everybody. They're lying. They're doing all. Wake up, people. We came here to experiment and on a mission at the same time. A lot of spirits didn't get a body. And they would love to be to know what it feels like to walk on the ground, to inhale the air. This is a vacation luxury planet. Other beings were coming here for the holidays and vacations. They're still living among us, and they always will. They don't communicate with us because we're violent and dumbed down. But wake up.
Now, how would you suggest that people empower themselves? The way you're talking, the way that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they should do a little inventory of their lives, first of all, and ask themselves, are they happy? Are they really accomplishing what they think their life should be? And once that question is asked, look at what they're doing. I mean, you have children and you don't have the time to stay with them and enjoy them. You may have a wonderful wife or wonderful husband. You might have bought stuff, a boat, a condominium, a share thing, but you cannot enjoy it. You don't have the time. That should be questioned. Why are you doing that? Turn off the television. Do some research other than Facebook, because that's helping them play you. Your stupid friends are telling all your business where you think you might be all careful. But they're over there, not because they don't love you and not because I don't love them, but because they are not awake enough to realize that information that they're giving and whatnot is what makes the advertisements more and make them understand how to put more ridiculous educational subjects in the schools for your children. Look at what your children are learning. Listen to them. Don't be sending them back telling them some ridiculousness like, oh, you need to listen more. They're telling you, these are star seeds. These are crystals. Those kids, these crystals know more math than any mathematician could ever imagine. But yet we send our loving children to these public food system, and they come back as enemy and brainwashed and learn nothing.
So be your own person.
Yes, sir. You better.
And if you're not your own person, create it.
Yeah, do your
become it.
research, but you can't do it by sitting there watching the TV. Because if you've noticed, the moment you start talking to somebody that's here, they can't talk. They always bring up a subject that they heard on TV, and you ask them, where you get that from? They say, oh, I got it from the TV on the news. You almost fall over. They cannot stop talking in your conversation, in a conversation with you, without referring to what silliness from one of those ridiculous Survivor shows, Are You Smarter Than the Fifth Grade? They'll make references to it. Like it's real stuff. Oh, that sounds like what we were talking about over there. You know, it's pitiful and it's sad.
It's all made up. There's nothing real.
Exactly. But that is what the people, the powers who think they control us, want to happen. I mean, you're easier to control. If those people came through here now and said all 14-year-olds are going to the army, you think the sheeple are going to stop them? And stand up and say, no. They won't do it. Why? What happened? They won't do it. They'll let their kids and everybody's kids go. They won't even question. Do you know there's a new law here in Canada since December the 16th, 2010, that is like the Patriot Act in America? Absolutely the same thing. Can come in your house without a warrant, without charges, and take you away. Do you know it's against the law to collect rainwater? It's also against the law to grow food. Against the law.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So with all that's happening in the world and all the conflicts and the violence all over the world and the human mind obviously not evolving very, very fast.
That's right.
Is there hope? Do you have hope, Geraldine, that we're going to make it? That you're going to make it?
Yeah, I have hope that ascension is going to happen because of the level of the consciousness of quite a few people on this planet. Like I said, the star seeds, the crystals that came in, really have helped anchor the light. And some light workers have gotten down here and got to loving the greed and all that. They're still sleeping. But the whole thing of it is, if you follow what the Mayans say, which is the Olmecs, and if you investigate that, you can prove me right or prove me wrong, but don't say I'm not right. You will understand that every 26,000 years, no one can stop what is about to happen. No one. Folks, every 26,000 years, investigate your history, okay? Find out what happens to this planet and wake up so you can be prepared. But now we're going to move into the age of Aquarius, and it is all about love, the center, not mind. Now it's heart. The movie that I like the best, that I go to bed every night with, and if I'm a little disturbed, I fall asleep on Avatar. That is my dream world. That's my manifestation. That's what I'm trying to manifest for myself, to live in such a world. Books, I'm not reading books anymore. I burned quite a few Bibles. I'm saving some for the winter because they burn longer. His logs. I'm burning all of those. I got plenty of those. And I'm burning a lot of these other ridiculousness. People remember in the Dark Ages, they burnt all the books. What books do you think they burnt? What? I don't hear you. What? What books do you think they burnt in the Library of Alexandria in the Dark Ages? Okay.
Not the Bible.
No, unfortunately.
Not the Bible.
Okay, they revised that
with
the New Testament for you. Yeah. Wake up, people. Okay? Nobody's coming to save you. You are who you've been waiting for. No one. You are who you've been waiting for. Forget about all of those lies they told you about Jesus and forget about it. It's not going to happen. You're responsible, so wake up.
You know, the image that I'm left with is the image of the Bodhisattva, who is a Buddha, almost a Buddha, somebody who's been through all the cycles of life. And he becomes a Bodhisattva. So that means he's free from the cycle of birth and rebirth. But he decides to come back, to bring the other bring the other humans to that level.
That's right.
And we're talking 600 years before Christ. We're talking a long time ago, where that notion was there, and it was captured by Buddhism. And a lot of what you said today made sense. The idea of coming back and choosing to come back to this planet, to change it, to make it evolve. And I thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're a great being.
Thank you. You are too. Namaste.
Namaste.